Sebring International Raceway at 3.5 miles and a former World War II airfield is fast through 1, then heavy on the brakes through 2, 3, 4 and 5, opening up at Big Ben and under the bridge, into the hairpin at 7, up the Fangio straight and into 10 and 11, which is Collier, then a right turn at Tower, Bishop is 14, Le Mans 15 and 16, and then the Ullman straight is a long, long run all the way to the final corner, which is Sunset Bend. And that is a lap of Sebring International Raceway.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands: Baldwin, John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman brand, and on down the list. So come see us, Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
Lightweighting means reducing mass and consolidating parts. No one tackles these design and tooling challenges better than three-dimensional services. We'll provide flexible tooling solutions, including integrating parts, reducing design complexity, or even design changes. We're the go-to source for rapid manufacturing and low-volume production. Trust three-dimensional services to develop the most efficient approach to meet your lightweighting challenges today. Three-dimensional services. Prototype, production, proven.
Menards is the Midwest's ultimate home improvement store. Family owned since 1958, Menards is the one-stop shop where you always save big money. Get the Midwest's best selection nationwide when you shop online at menards.com. We make it easy to complete your projects around the house, big or small. From hardware to plumbing or paint to appliances, we carry it all. Visit menards.com today to save big money at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hello and a warm welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. We've had our lunch break here. The sun is back out and we are ready to go racing for our feature race of the day. And that, of course, is TA2, the big championship in Trans Am, which began here, for those that know and for those that don't, back in 1966. Yes, it's 56 years old, is Trans Am, and still going strong. And I would argue, I'm going to ask my learned friend alongside me, that this era of Trans Am is another golden era and one we have been waiting for a long, long time. We have record fields, we have drivers that have been around both in Trans Am, in IMSA, and in world-class racing et al. Plus, we've got youngsters coming from all over the country, wanting to be in this series, wanting to take part in a series that means something to their careers and that they can show on a CV or a resume that shows that they can go on to the next level of professional motorsports. And when I say that, I mean IMSA and NASCAR. And as they play the national anthem, as we look high above Sebring International Raceway, let's take a look at what happened last night in qualifying. Well, the sun was still up when we started, and everybody was looking for a good lap. BC Racing's Misha Goikberg looking very quick and looking very svelte and ready to go. Conor Mosak made an effort. He would end up just ahead of Goikberg, who got fourth. Mosak would take third place with an excellent 206.9. And on board with Adam Andretti, the Bell Helmets, doing his job for him. He said he had a perfect view to a front row start. Didn't matter that the sun was going down. But it was Rafa Matos, the man of the moment and the champion of the series, who takes pole with a 205.717. to lead the field.
Rafa, our 2021 champion, how does it feel to start the 2022 season so well with Three-Dimensional Services Group?
It feels great, Ben. I think it's a testimony of all the hard work that the three-dimensional service group does. This team is amazing, you know. Adam Andretti, second. I think it would be 1, 2, 3 if Mike Skeen didn't have a clutch problem, but, you know, just an amazing moment for us to start a season like that. Here at Sebring, first race of the year. It's a very hot track, very hard to overtake, so we have the best view in town.
Do you want me to chat with Kelly? Say again? Yeah, do you want me to chat with Mike? Well, we are moments away. The cars are on the pre-grid, and like I said, record fields here, a huge field for the start of the 2022 season, and I'm looking forward to this as much as anybody involved in Trans Am over the years. I'm delighted to have Kerry Hitt with me, who will be giving some expert comments. He's not racing this weekend, usually racing in TA, but he is excited as anybody else to see this massive field. And without further ado, let's head down to the pit lane and talk to Ben Sissel, who's on the pre-grid.
So I'm here at a grid at the Sebring SpeedTour of 48 cars, but the car that caught my eye is Gene Segal's with the Ukrainian flag. Are you racing in solidarity? What's the meaning behind this?
So yeah, I'm racing in solidarity for the Ukrainian people. I was born in the Ukraine. I was very young. My parents brought me here, and I'm still rocking the flag. I've been racing all my life, and I've always had it on my suit. And this is for the people of Ukraine, just to let them know that we're thinking about them.
Nice. Just to let them know that we're thinking about the people of Ukraine. Thank you so much. Good luck. Like I said, we've got 48 drivers in this. I'm going to actually start from the back and work my way up as we walk forward. So we've got Matt Parent, Jim Gallagher, A.J. Hendrickson, Patrick Paul, Keith Prochuk, Bruce Raymond, Tim Gray, Danny Lowry as our champion. Mike Skeen from 2020 jumps in the car here, new car to him. John Cloud, Gene Segal that we just met, Matt Gray, Ricky Sanders, Maurice Hall, Doug Peterson. Then now we're going to come up through here. Ty Young, I met Ty Young with us at Austin, Texas last year. Mark Austin, also from Austin, Texas, which makes it really fun. Mark Katensi, right here. Mark Katensi from Istanbul, Turkey. Chad Christensen with Forrester Pontoon Boats. Stephen Lustig, he's my deadhead, Grateful Deadhead right here. On the, from New Jersey. We've got Darren Mock right there. Barry Bowes right here. Oxio Data. The president of the Shelby Club, Kurt Vogt, obviously racing the number 23 Ford Mustang, Cobra Automotive. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to say one of my good friends racing with BC Race Cars and Ghost Energy, Michelle Abadi from Las Vegas, Nevada. Aaron Pierce back out here with us. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Rhett Barco in the Challenger. All the way from Göteborg, Sweden, or as Americans say, Gothenburg, our West Coast champion from last year. We've got Carl Rydquist getting dressed. A little late to the grid there, Carl. Rocking the Swedish flag. And this is such a large grid to go through. What a great problem to have. Rocking the Horse Soldier Bourbon. Jeff Sexton, brand new to the series. Connor Zilich, that we saw the youngest pole position ever in TA2 at VIR just last year, came from St. Petersburg racing to today. Roberto Sabato, Ironman Tom Sheehan. Then we've got with FPEC, Dylan Archer. Elias Anderson there and the Sampson Ford Mustang. Then this is a story. I'm going to have to pause here for a second for these two. Racing in memory of Al Prieto, who we lost just January 8th to a highway disaster, is Thomas Merrill, who won here last year in honor of the family. Scott Borchetta here in the number 48 Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, a huge supporter of the series, starting near the front. That should be fun. Tyler Casera. We're going to stop here then, Tony, if you don't mind, because we've only got a few minutes. Then it goes to Tyler Casera. Evan Slater just turned 16 years old. Jack Wood. Robert Noker. We've got Brent Cruz. So great to have Noker here. Hey, Pirelli. And then we're going to move up here. Misha Goikberg, two-time champion. Cameron Lawrence. Hey, Tony. We're going to have to go to Tony. So then look up here. An all three-dimensional services group front row. But we're coming to the president. Pirelli Motorsports Holdings. Hey, Marty. All right, Jonathan. Jonathan, I'm going to send it back to you.
Well, Ben Sissel, great job to be able to talk over that roar of thousands and thousands of horsepower. 48 TA2 cars, all equally matched when it comes to engine power, but it comes down to driver skill. And I am absolutely, I've been involved in Trans Am now for about 5-6 years now, and I have never been more excited about a season ahead than this one. Our current champion, Rafa Matos, two-time champion, on the pole for this race. He's got 3 teammates, one of which is also a champion in his, two of which, with Doug Peterson as well, have both been champions in Trans Am as well, because Mike Skeen is also racing. Adam Andretti, one of the most experienced drivers et al., he too is on the front row, and while he hasn't been a champion, who knows what he might do this season. He's on the front row. Then we've got youngsters like Connor Mosak and many others coming in. You heard Robert Nokia and Jack Wood's name being mentioned. Evan Slater, another 16-year-old to watch out for. William Solowich, also one to look out for. And then we've got the likes of Dylan Archer, who made a name for himself, but everybody knows the Archer name in American racing. So there are names coming through, and as you saw, there are names like Carl Rydquist, who've popped out from the West Championship and come to race in the National Championship. Michelle Abate, great to have her here. She was a winner last year, and she's come through the ranks. And then there's there's the usual suspects, as it were, like the Barry Bowes and like the Doug Petersons that have been around here for a while. Thomas Merrill has had problems, and interestingly enough, just a footnote, Thomas Merrill has changed to the number 2 car, the man from Atlanta, Georgia, for Mike Cope Racing. And the reason is that is to honor a former teammate of his. And we will tell you more about that story. But as we go out of pit lane, I'm delighted to be joined. And I always think sometimes commentators can overhype things. But my excitement for this era of Trans Am, I've only seen this. You've been around this sport since the 80s. Am I right to be as excited about this field when you've seen them all?
Absolutely, yeah. Trans Am's done a tremendous job with putting this whole class together. It's incredible. Tight, the cars are equal. They've got Ricky Brooks, a check inspector, who keeps everybody honest, so to speak. And I have... Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, all right, yeah. I still can't hear anything in my earphone.
How about now?
Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm sorry. So, no, as I was saying, they do a tremendous job of keeping everybody equal. Tech inspection down there, I'll tell you what, it's as serious as can be, you know. So, and the thing about it, it's the job of the crew chief and the people who are building the cars to read the rules and get the gray areas and get as much advantage out of it as they can without kind of going overboard and over the line. And Ricky keeps them from doing that. So it's a tremendous class. And I think you're going to see some really great racing at a racetrack like Sebring. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, no question about it. Like you say, when the money comes back and the sponsorship comes back, it starts to get serious. Everybody doing what they do naturally in motor racing, which is find that advantage, try to get ahead of your opponent, push the rules to the very limit. Sometimes you get caught maybe going over the limit, but that's racing, folks, and we love it. Ben Sissel joins us once again in the pit. What's the atmosphere like down there? It looks electric.
It is electric down there. Everybody seems a little nervous.
Yes,
everybody
good.
was talking about from turn 1 to turn 3, and then at turn 4 they might be able to relax maybe 1%.
Yeah.
And then it's after lap 4 or 5 can they start really feeling the rhythm. But 48 cars all piling into turn 1, and maybe you've covered this. It's 6 lanes wide going into turn 1, and then instantly it's 3 lanes.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 lanes.
And then you have a left-hander right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a right-hander right after that.
Yeah.
And you've got curves. And then you got another left-hander, and it's a decreasing radius. And then you go under the bridge. So it really gets busy when you're doing that.
It really does. Sebring International Raceway seems like it was designed to break cars and break drivers' spirits.
Fantastic coverage. We've got live pictures from Mike Skeen's car, and of course those familiar with Mike Skeen and the Liqui Moly colours, he swapped teams this year. He's doing a full IMSA program and therefore will be at the 12 hours, but he's doing several races for the Peterson Racing team, the three-dimensional services team. So he joins the champion Rafa Matos, Adam Andretti and Doug Peterson in that team. So it really is the star-studded team. It's like the NBA Bulls, that team. But, Kerry, let's just put, for those fans that aren't used to Trans Am racing, this is almost a sprint endurance race. And what I mean by that is it's a long race, 75 minutes, but there is no time to let it. There's not like a time when you can relax. There's no pit stops. There's no... you tell me, what's it like?
No, that's exactly it. It's, especially when the race is going to start, you're going to have the cars on either side of you, in the front of you, behind you. You get pinched down, as Ben was saying, from 6 lanes down to 3 lanes, and then right after that the track even gets more busy, and there's curves, and people are going to be going over the curves. I've been behind cars already that they've hit the curb, and I see daylight under both sides of the tires. So it is really going to be a busy, at least first half a lap, and with these cars being so close, it might be the first 2 or 3 laps that they've got a lot of switching and going on.
Guys, I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'll start it off. Things to look for in this race. Watch out for Connor Mosack. He's third on the grid, and he knows if he doesn't make an inroad on those three-dimensional cars, those 2 Ford Mustangs ahead of him, he's going to have a long 75 minutes. So watch out for Connor Mosack right from the get-go. Try to get ahead of at least one and split those Ford Mustangs. Another story to watch out, Misha Goikberg. He's always been a regular here, the man from Canada for the BC Racing Car team, and he starts 4th. And if there's one thing I know about Misha, he does not hold back. He doesn't care. He wants to race, and he wants to race hard. So watch him coming back. And also behind him, one and only Cameron Lawrence. And so this is going to be an interesting race at the front. I'll go to you, Ben. What are you looking for?
Just like you said, Connor Mosack making that start behind 2 teammates. Now, if you know Doug Peterson, there are no team orders. He wants to win the race. He doesn't care who wins the race. It's the first race of the season. So Connor Mosack has his work cut out for him, with Misha Goikberg beside him, who just is one of the most aggressive drivers out here. He doesn't really have much to lose in this series yet, so he's going to really prove himself, as he did here last year. I'm looking for Michelle Abadi in that Ghost car to move up, that Ghost energy drink car, as we ride along with our West Coast champion of Carl Rydquist. So, Kerry, explain what we're seeing here in the graphics with the T and the B and the numbers here.
Okay. Throttle is the T. You can see as they step on the throttle, the graph goes up. Brake is B is for brake. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing exactly what's happening in the car. He's on the throttle, on the brake, on the throttle, on the brake. So, and you'll see that when they come out. They come out of the corner and they hit the straight. Of course, the throttle is going to be down all the way, and it's going to be all the way up to the top. And same with the braking. So it's interesting. The data that you can get on these cars is tremendous. You can do a lot of studying after the race and find out what happened and where it happened if you had any problems, and then that's what you work on.
They are, without doubt, a simple car, and that's the idea. It's pure racing, we like to call it, because it really is all about the driver and his seat-of-the-pants driving. But hers, but it's becoming more and more a part of this sport with data, because there are increments. The level in Trans Am has gone through the roof. in the last couple of years. Rafa Matos is a two-time champion. He dominated last year, and he looks to do the same. The man from Boca Raton, Florida, a newly made citizen of the United States, originally from Brazil, of course. We are ready to go racing. Away we go! Rafa Matos leads the way. Adam Andretti will try to take him at the first corner. Misha Goikberg looking for a way through in that blue number 10. Can't quite do it. Good clean start though. Conor Mosak didn't make too much inroads. If anybody, it's Goikberg who did the most business here in the first corner as we go on board with Mike Skeen. Complete chaos going into 3. So hard to stay away from the other cars, but still keep going. But he's done just that. Great racing between all of them. But the 70 of Brent Cruz, the youngster, is ahead of Mike Skeen. But Misha Goikberg has got into second place. Andretti drops to third. So it's Matos, Goikberg, and Andretti.
I don't know how Goikberg does this. He did this with us last year. One of the best starters we have in the series. A ton of experience here as Adam Andretti looks inside, followed by Conor Mosak.
Oh, that was a moment. They touched.
They did.
Cameron Lawrence, Mike Skeen. That's 2 champions touching right there. Cameron Lawrence, 2-time champion. Mike Skeen going up. There goes the number 70. I don't even know where to begin here, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, Conor Mosak gained the most out of that. Brent Cruz goes through in the 70. Through goes the 17 of Dylan McAvern. He could be a winner too here. On board with Mike Skeen. He has to go around the outside of 10. There's no choice. There's no way there. And Dylan McAvern on the inside of him there. But what a start. What a frenetic start to this race. And it's calming down just a moment now. Ken Thwaites in the middle there as well. But Cameron Lawrence going really well. And chasing down our leader, Rafa Matos, who so far has stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, but Rafa Matos, this is just played into his hands. He's pulling a huge gap. While all these other cars are back here fighting for their position, Rafa Matos has really pulled a huge gap. It is playing right into the hands of our 2021 champion, Rafa Matos.
Well, we're about to complete the first lap. Rafa Matos leading, coming down the Ullman Straight, and as you say rightly, Ben, he's pulling away at the front. That's just what he needed. He would have much preferred to have this man, Andretti, right behind him, but Andretti isn't done yet. He was the one that got in the fisticuffs on the exit of the hairpin a moment ago, and there was some coming together, and that allowed Conor Mosak to go up to second place. And as they come across the line, Matos, Goikberg, Conor Mosak. Great start to this one. Kerry hit pretty much what you expected or not?
Yeah, it was. They did a phenomenal job. You take all of those cars and all of that energy and you squeeze it down the way they did. I mean, everybody did a wonderful job on it.
That opening lap by the leader, 2:12.1, 2:13 by Misha. Mosak, Lawrence fourth.
Mike Skeen just getting around right there from Brent Cruz, Cornelius, North Carolina, Nitro Motorsports Ford Mustang. But I've been so impressed with Brent Cruz, really showing us what he's got. But man, Mike Skeen, I think he moved up about 6 to 8 positions there just in one lap.
Great on board with Adam Andretti. You can see him in the seat looking in the mirrors. You need eyes everywhere almost. And Cameron Lawrence isn't going to be holding it back against Conor Mosak, who took the win last year, but he's still a youngster, just 23 years of age. But I think last year was a chance to show that he is worthy of being in this fight, and he's had enough results now where he's not intimidated by anybody in this field. Quick run through it. Matos, Goikberg, Mosak, that's your top 3. Then Lawrence, Andretti, Cruz, and Skeen. Cruz, the youngster amongst those. Dylan McAvern. Champions everywhere you look. Robert Nokia in 9th position. Tyler Casera getting a full run now with the big boys in Stevens Miller Racing. He's in the top 10. Just behind him is Doug Peterson. Then Thomas Merrill. Thomas has struggled a little bit in this weekend, but is still in the hunt in 12th place.
Never count Thomas Merrill out as we ride on board with our champion Mike Skeen from 2020 behind his teammate Adam Andretti. Let's see what happens here.
I don't know, but I'll turn to my bodywork, man. Mike Skeen's hood looks a little loose, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, they're fiberglass. They're not composite. They're not carbon fiber the way the TA cars are. And they're very thin, so you've got a lot of aerodynamics going over the top of that that's causing that fluttering.
And I wonder why Doug Peters keep the wiper blade on Mike Skeen. It seems like it's not going to rain today. Seems to be one of the only ones that has that on there. Maybe they know something we don't know. As we look there at last year's 2021 Rookie of the Year, Rhett Barco in that Dodge Challenger, Barco cars. But here, the man running for Ukraine, Gene Segal, going through 17, the most treacherous corner here at Sebring International Raceway.
Yeah, and welcome to Sigel Sport, a new team for this year. Gene coming in and looking to make a name for himself, and he's already up there. Scott Borchetta dives into the top 15. He's got Evan Slater and Jack Wood, the two youngsters, ahead of him in 14th and 13th position.
Well, let's think about this. Scott Borchetta owns an Xfinity team, the Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler Xfinity team. There's two drivers right in front of him that are trying to make it into an Xfinity team, so he might be out here doing some scouting while he's racing.
Yeah, if you want to impress Scott Borchetta, beat him.
Exactly, because he is a really talented driver, and for his job, it's his job to spot talent, so he's got an eye out for that.
Well, as this race settles down, it was just the start that Rafa wanted. But I wonder if Rafa's...
I'm showing Misha Goldberg in the head.
Oh, no, one of the new boys is out, and that's the horse shoulder, the Texas boy in the number 12. Jeff Sexton, who's out. And I wonder what happened, because we are showing that Misha is leading this race and that Matt Rafa has dropped back. So, big change already. So I think a mistake then by Rafa, or something's gone wrong. We'll probably find out. But we're on board with Skeen. Over 130 miles an hour through this section here. Wheel-to-wheel racing, the first race of the year.
Well, now looking at Mike Skeen's windshield, that might be why. He's getting a lot of dirt on there, a lot of grease and grime. It's unfortunate for Jeff. Texas racing the Horse Soldier Bourbon Whiskey Ford
first
Mustang.
race in Trans Am.
Look at everybody's windshield. There's a lot of dirt on the windshields, Kerry. Is that coming into play?
All right.
Well, I would be afraid to turn on the wiper with all the dirt on there, really. But
that's true. You'll just smear it. But
yeah,
I think our scoring is going cockeye. So we've got, by my eyes, we've got Rafa Matos ahead of Misha Goldberg.
Rafa continues to lead this one. The timing just went awry for a second there. Kind of fooled us a bit, but it is Rafa Matos for the three-dimensional services team in the Ford Mustang who leads, and their two are pulling away at the front. They've got a gap of about 0.7 of a second side by side. Two champions going through turn one. Mike Skeen on the outside. And these two have been at it for many a year. Who's going to take the advantage? Cameron Lawrence holding on.
Both of them champions in Stevens Miller Racing. Cameron Lawrence, two-time champion. Mike Skeen, one-time champion. The leader of this is two-time champion Rafa Matos. This is turning out to be quite a race already as we look there at the Nick Taylor custom-fit underwear of Connor Mosack.
Yeah, Connor Mosack was the one that lost out the most, I think, in that tussle at the hairpin with Andretti, because Andretti was looking for a move. He touched Connor. That sent him wide, and that gave an advantage, and that's why Connor's dropped back. But I can believe that if his car's okay, he'll start to rebuild again as the number 8 goes through.
Now, the one I'm really telling us to look at is the number 17 of Dylan McIvern. He's with SLR Racing this weekend, two-time IMSA champion. Turner Motorsports was his most current one, but he's been in TA2 with us for quite a while. And that car right there, unbelievable driver. I've never seen him in the shape that he's in right now. Really good driver at Sebring. Watch for him to move up, but he's also calculating. He might be just totally comfortable there until 10 laps to go.
Gary, how do the cars feel and change as the race goes on? I know you do TA, but it's equivalent in terms of fuel load and how tires work underneath.
Well, the fuel load is as the car goes, as the fuel goes down, I believe that these do have adjustments. Did the TA2s have adjustments? Oh, that's
big off.
Good.
Patrick Paul there from Kennesaw, Georgia in the Air Clean Energy Chevrolet Camaro.
And that could easily bring out our first safety if I'm not mistaken. We'll see. But go ahead, Kerry.
Yeah, so the fuel load burning off is going to help, going to change. Of course, tires going, being worn, getting hot. They're going to get slippery. The track itself.
Ooh,
oh, that was
big
close.
moment.
Adam Andretti drifting through there, showing his Formula Drift chops.
Well, if anybody knows how to pull out of that, it's Adam. He's a good guy.
It's lost him a place, though.
Yeah, it did.
But I think that was a little bit of Adam. I'll give it to Mike Skeen, my teammate. You know, that's a little bit of gamesmanship there, which is totally allowed.
Yep.
There are no team orders in TA2. Trust me on that. But Adam knew that was Mike Skeen, so if he's going to give it to anybody, he's going to give it to him and look to fight another day as Connor Mosack is slowing down there through 5.
Yeah, he's 2 cars already past him. We go on board with Cameron Lawrence now as he goes to the gearbox. Look at the bottom left. You watch him working the gearbox and how he works the wheel. Heading down towards the hairpin one more time.
Cameron is a smooth driver.
Damage here to this car as well. That's the 70. of Brent Cruz. Well, he was up further, and I think he got involved in a little incident earlier. He's just ahead of Evan Slater and Cameron Lawrence.
But he's got Thomas Merrill right behind him. Thomas Merrill, who spun at 3 lap 1 last year and then came back to win the race.
We've got several incidents
Dylan
now.
Archer with the food processing equipment company Ford Mustang, the newest Howe chassis in the field. Everybody misses them.
No. Yeah, wrong way, man.
Yeah.
Go, Dylan.
Well,
Dylan Archer from the Archer Brothers.
Yep.
And we've got a local yellow there. The great thing, if you're watching us,
Dylan Archer having a bunky Archer moment, but getting it righted and okay. But we are under caution, and I don't think that's anything to do with Dylan's incident, actually. I think it's to do with the 2 cars that were already off the track and needed to be cleared away. Now, Ben, as you described before, they are quite good at keeping the race hot here at Sebring, but there are certain incidents where you have to get to the car and it's in a dangerous place, so you have to bring out the caution.
yeah, the safety crew here at Sebring International Raceway with Billy Kingston and Matt Luha is maybe the best in the industry. They're going to clean it up as quickly as they can, but I tell you, you know who loves this double yellow? Everybody but Rafa Matos.
Yeah, good point. Well, while we've got a little bit of a respite, what a start, what a dynamic start to the 2022 season here on the CBS Sports Network. We'll take a short break. We'll be back from Sebring in a moment.
Speed, endurance, desire. For 160 years, Motul has helped engines and drivers go faster, further, and stronger. Tested in the heat of battle, driven with passion, with one aim, to give you superior powertrain protection and performance. Motul.
Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. What a start to this one, and we're under caution at the moment. We've had several cars having incidents. Rafa Matos continues to lead the race. There's some of the damaged car, and that car is ripped apart. It's in the pits, and how it made it back I'll never know, but it's a mess.
Yeah, that Optima battery went through the ringer there. We're looking in to see the driver's okay, but I don't think that car is going back out on track.
And here's another one of the cars being cleared up. That's the 05, I think.
Yeah, it looks like they're having to do a little bit of track damage. The vehicle there you see in the tow truck, that is the low car recovery sled, invented by the men in our SpeedTour paddock to clean up the low-hanging cars, the cars with the front splitters, really fast as we ride on board with Adam Andretti. Now, what are you doing here when you've got most intense, like 3 or 4 laps, and now you have to kind of calm down? What are you looking at? What are you listening to, Kerry?
Well, you always listen, but when you're in a situation like this, you think what can go wrong. So you're listening for every little noise the car makes, and you know it's a whole lot better if you're racing and you're concentrating on the track and you're not concentrating on what's going to happen with the car. You also want to think about some strategy, what you're going to do for the start.
Is this a slow pace lap? This seems like a really slow.
It is, I think.
Here's some replays of some of the incidents we may not have caught first time. Well, they did one, and that's Lustig, I think, in the 05. That's the one turned around there. Oh, no,
Danny Lowry. So Danny Lowry and Patrick Paul.
Yes, sorry. Okay, we did see Patrick Paul. There he is.
So Bridge Hall, Bennett International Pit Box's Ford Mustang there.
So many incidents, it's hard to keep up. But we saw Dylan Archer going off here as well, getting himself stuck in the middle of the track. He went the wrong way in many ways, but where can you go?
There he is.
There he is.
Took it a little bit too much.
I mean, he knew he was stuck in the middle of the track, and so he tried to go as quickly as he could forward, but that can also be in the line of fire, so to speak.
Somebody I've been really impressed with the last couple years. In 2020, he was runner-up in our Super GT category. 2021, he moved up to this Hawk Performance TA2 car and finished in the top 5. Adrian Lostowski from New York is really showing us some talent in his Ford Mustang. And right now, we're seeing the speeds kind of pick up in this pace lap. What are you looking at? What kind of dynamics are you going through, and are you talking to your crew chief?
Me personally, I don't talk on the radio a lot. Usually I just like to concentrate on what's happening. I don't like to hear a lot of chatter. But again, what you're looking to do is you want to anticipate the start. You want to kind of get an idea, make sure your position's right. Make sure that car is in the best gear and is ready to take the green flag and get the best jump that you can get. So,
well, let me add a little drama here. Misha Goikberg, who is probably the best starter that we have in the TA2 field, his best time is a 209.295.
Yeah.
Rafa Mato's best time is a 208.980. Very close, but we know Misha as being a really great starter. Now, Rafa is the only one in the 208s. So what is Rafa's strategy here for the start, and what are the rules? Is it as soon as they see the green flag, or does the leader start the restarts?
Well, as soon as they see the green flag, they'll be listening. Now, normally if you start the race, you cannot pass the car until you cross the finish line, or the start-finish line. But what he's going to look at doing is waiting for the green to either see it, or you got to have a crew chief that's on the radio and green, 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 and the second you hear that, you're back on the throttle and just as hard as you can be on it. Looks like they're still under caution.
Yeah. Now you can really see as these 48 cars come through here how rough this track is. Just look at the front splitter as they come down this main straight, just bouncing up and down as we ride on the 2021 West Coast champion Franklin Road Apparel Carl Rydquist car, all the way from Göteborg, Sweden. As you can see, he's playing with his mask there. It looks like he might have some sweat in his eyes.
Wouldn't be surprised. You saw him on the grid, but he was last into the car. There was a lot of stress. Kerry was smiling because he said, I've been there. When you're stressed like that, you're late to the grid, you're panicking, then the crew get panicked, you get sweaty. So it's not been the easiest of first runs on the National Series for our champion Carl Rydquist from the West Coast.
Really gets to be a lot of adrenaline as you're trying to get in, and even the point of getting the seatbelt snapped, and once that's in and you're there, and then you can kind of take a breath and get ready to concentrate on the race.
Now, I think the reason we're still under caution is we saw one car on the back straight, on the Ullman straight, right in the middle of it, being assisted, and they'll try to get that out of the way, but that's why we're still under caution, because the other two cars have been moved away.
The nice thing about Sebring is there are a lot of outlets or inlets to the infield, and when I had run the a 12-hour race here, it was a classic, 12-hour classic, and I found out how many different outlets you could get off the track, so they can go out and snatch the car off the track and keep the race green, which is much better. I would rather have a race stay green and go than.
Well, we've got one of the most experienced race directors in the world, or certainly in America, David Hoots, of course, who's been with NASCAR for some 30 years, but now has come across to transition to Trans Am and maybe put some of his experience in terms of race direction. We've got the feel of it last year, and now I think he's very much in the hot seat, has got his feet under the table, and is enjoying this new challenge, so to speak.
It is, and what a difference he's made in the series, and you can see it just by the drivers that are coming up now. TA2, 2,800-pound cars, 26, I believe, gallon fuel tank. Is that right?
I'm not sure TA2.
Yeah.
I know that.
But they're very similar to stock cars. We had a lot of the NASCAR drivers run with us. So what you're seeing right here, especially now that the Peter Gregg Foundation has introduced this Young Guns competition, we're seeing about 14, 15 drivers out there that probably have the chance to be running in NASCAR here pretty soon. We have just in the last few NASCAR drivers go through there at the Daytona 500 that came through this TA2 class. And this is the series that I think everybody looks at for the best road racing, the best training platform for anybody that really wants to make a career in road racing, because there's no driver aids. There's
Correct.
Nothing helping the driver. It's a standard 8 shifting pattern and a 550 horsepower, 2,800-pound muscle car on Pirelli P0. So this is a really difficult race car to run very quickly. So if you can run in this kind of a group this fast, you have all kinds of talent.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Peter Gregg Foundation. Anybody in this race that is between 14 and 24 is eligible for a $20,000 prize money and that's fairly handy. So we'll be looking out for that. And they'll be racing throughout the season for those honours. Here we go again then. Green flag waves, and away goes Rafa Matos. Goikberg right behind him. Can he get to the inside and make a move? Well, Rafa takes it high and wide. Skeen looking for a way through. As well, in third position at the moment. Gets alongside Goikberg. He'll try and see if he can make it a 1-2 for the three-dimensional services team. And he does. Oh, but Goikberg late brakes very late. They touch for a moment. Goikberg keeps his foot in. Great driving by the BC Racing man to hold on.
How did he do that?
I don't know.
He was
got ahead of the
sideways.
champ. Great stuff. And throws the dust in his face just to say, see ya. And Mike Skeen has to wait.
Isn't there a law in physics that two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time?
Well, we just saw it change.
I think they may have worked on that.
Yeah. Thomas Merrill has also moved way up there in that Al Prieto in memoriam car. And Guamali car, Tyler Casera, right in front of Thomas Merrill.
Yeah, his first run for the team. Tyler Casera racing for Silver Hair Racing last year. And as we go back on board with Carl Reichquist. And he's still sort of fiddling with the car a little bit. He's certainly not happy, but he's an experienced race driver. He's raced all around the world, originally from Sweden, but done most of his racing here in the USA. Lives in California, hence the reason why he's been on the West Coast for so many years. Such talent this year. So excited to see the youngsters coming through and the experience of the likes of Carl Reichquist getting their chance. Likewise, Tyler Casera with Stevens Miller Racing in that Liqui Moly car. We've got Jack Wood, not mentioning him. He's in the top 10, just got ahead of Noka in the 03.
I'm showing Scott Borchetta in the top 10.
Yeah, in 8th position at the moment. He's just behind Connor Zilic. Connor Zilic is not somebody we've mentioned too much. He's in the number 5 car. He's in 7th at the moment, and he was in that unfortunate second qualifying group, Ben, that just didn't get the chance really properly to run. Zilic did everything in his power to put in a lap in last night, but it just wasn't to be, was it?
Look at this group coming in right there. There's Dylan McIvern. Side by side, Scott Borchetta on the inside of Dylan McIvern, going through Big Machine Spike Cooler, turn 17, in his Big Machine Spike Cooler Chevy Camaro, showing Dylan McIvern how it's done.
I was going to say, that's a scalp for Scott Borchetta. Definitely in the zone for now as they all fly by, and a beautiful sound of some 48, at least we started with 48 beautiful TA2 cars. The first round of the season on CBS Sports Network. We hope you're enjoying it. Connor Mosak struggling a little bit in the 28, and likewise I'm looking down at that 27 of Jack Wood, currently in 10th position as we go back on board with Carl Reichquist.
This is a really difficult section because it's very technical. You've got to get this right. You want a late apex this corner here. Tons of different racing surfaces as they come into Franklin Road, turn 7. Misha Goikberg, Mike Skeen. Mike Skeen wants Misha Goikberg here. Now look to turn 10. There's not a lot of passing that happens in turn 10, but Mike Skeen and Misha Goikberg probably have the talent to do it.
Yeah, Kerry, I'll put you in the box seat as we take a look at the other car, the 86. Now, what has happened to that?
Adam Andretti. Oh,
not the way he wanted to start his season.
He was having some clutch problems there yesterday. He told me after his qualifying he had some clutch problems. I hope that hasn't come back because he was one of the front runners in this with three-dimensional services group.
Well, they had put him out of contention for this one.
They had the left tire. Oh.
Round goes the 22.
Ty Young. We were talking about Ty Young. Kind of new to the series. He raced with us at COTA with Mike Cope Racing, but that's unfortunate for Ty Young, but he's going to get that back out on the track. Welcome to the series.
Yeah, and again, that turn 7 incident, once again, throwing up. Kerry, you were in the middle of saying something.
Yeah, it looked like they had the left rear wheel off on Adam's car. I don't know if it would be maybe an axle issue. Not sure. They didn't show us enough. You just saw the tire on. Maybe he had a flat tire, too. I don't know.
Well, Kerry, you've done this circuit a bunch of times. If you are Mike Skeen and you're in third place and you know your teammate needs some help, where are you going to try and have a go at Misha? What corner?
Well, a couple of different good places. I mean, going into 17 is a good passing point. Turn 1's a good passing point.
Side by side.
If you can do really... If you can do really well in braking, the hairpin is a good point. So there are a couple of different spots that you'd be able to get them.
What did you spot, Ben?
I saw Michelle Abadi and her Ghost Energy drinks going outside There it is right there in that day glow yellow outside of turn 17, held it. Really good driving for Michelle Abadi in this national series. So excited to have her out here with us.
She has done a great job. I mean, she has worked hard. I mean, she and her husband was her crew chief. That was it. You know, 2 people, and they
don't forget Moxie the dog.
Yeah. Oh, and the dog. Absolutely.
No, she's done a great job. She did enter a few national races at COTA a couple of years ago and last year too. And I think that just gave her enough confidence to feel like she could go for the national. She's got some new sponsorship, as you mentioned, that Go sponsorship, the energy drink. And I think that's what that combination, because it really was a family team, has pushed her forward to the national championship. We saw her at the awards. She's the most popular driver out there. So she's got a lot going for her. And she's driving hard at the moment.
Yeah, she does. She does great marketing too. I mean, she works hard for her sponsors and makes sure that they get the biggest bang for their buck.
Really pleased to see.
Melee there at turn 10.
Somebody's gone off as well. Yeah, somebody's just spun round at 10. Yeah, it's good to see Adrian Lostowski out there. He had a crash in qualifying and beat up the back of his car, got it going again, so they banged it all out. And it sounds as though he's certainly listening to the engine that it's A-OK. And I don't know who that was at turn 10, but somebody's gone out there. Let's hope they can get it restarted. But what a frenetic start to this race. Only 9 laps gone. A long way to go yet. Some just under 50 minutes left. And Rafa Matos, if he can rest a little.
He's got some damage on the rear end, but that looks to be pretty inconsequential.
You know, the nice thing about these cars, the tube frame cars, it's a silhouette body. You can fix them up. They look really bad, but they have crushed stones and they have parts you can take off and you can replace them pretty easily, and then just put carry spare bodywork and put it back on, and then the car looks good again.
Just a reminder, there is no pit stops, no official pit stops. You can do what Adam Andretti did, which is come in and fix whatever you got to fix, and there's always a chance of caution. And with such a long race of an hour, there's always a chance that if there is cautions, you can get back into the fray. I've seen it happen. In fact, it happened this time last year in TA when Chris Dyson made it through from the back all the way to the front. He won again yesterday. And so the TA Championship is also just as strong as this TA2 Championship.
Rafa looks relaxed. You can see his body language there at the bottom left. He looks like he's really liking the way that the car feels. Even though he's moving around a lot of that is just the characteristics of Sebring. He looks like he's pretty relaxed. You can see him looking in the mirror, shifting there. I think Rafa's going to be the one to beat here so far.
And as we look at the onboard, look at his left shoulder. See that yellow there? I watched him put that together. That is a pad, a huge pad that he zipped up there with yellow duct tape. And it's basically because he's moving about so much at this bumpy Sebring circuit. He said, I'm moving so much that I'm sometimes losing my hand off the wheel. So he said, in order to stay still, I put this pad here so that hopefully I can get through Sunset Bend and a few other of the left-handers and not feel like I'm too loose. And I'm sure that's something you've come across, Kerry.
Absolutely. There's nothing more important than a good seat that fits you well and holds you in place, because if you've got to concentrate on holding yourself into position, you can't concentrate on steering the car.
Great onboards here. That's the most important corner, in my opinion, coming out of 16. If you can get a good run out of 16, you can really gap your competitors. But if you don't, that can really cost you, because you're coming down the longest straight here at Sebring that has 3 long straightaways. Into turn 17, you try to find the blue dot on the bridge, go right under that, right like he's doing right there, and hit the apex, and then just try to drive it out, get on the power, and come back down this straightaway. And look at how he's gapped Misha Goikberg and Mike Skeen.
Well, Mike Skeen is all over the back of Goikberg at the moment, and that's how we're spreading out. The field's starting to spread out at this point, and fantastic battles throughout this race. And just a note that one of the Rhett Barco, one of the guys who's currently in 16th, he's just lost a place to Evan Slater, but he had a misfire, had 2 bad injectors yesterday, and so that might be a problem.
Look at that.
Through goes
Thomas Merrill.
Merrill going through on Lawrence. They've had a fair few battles in the past.
They have, and this is a great story here. Al Prieto passed away January 8th this year, and his family said, we'd like for Mike Cope to use this car as a backup if Thomas ever needs it. First race of the season, Thomas needs it, and here it is, running like gangbusters as Scott Borchetta looks inside. 2-time champion Cameron Lawrence, number 48. Cameron holds it just a little bit, but I think Scott Borchetta's got some speed here in that M1 race car.
Great to see Scott Borchetta really mixing it with current champions. And for those of us who've been following Trans Am for the last few years, the rise of Scott Borchetta from amateur to professional has been huge. He's been a long time SVRA man, but to see him at this level taking on the likes of Cameron is really, really impressive.
Huge supporter of the series, but also motorsports in general. He has an Xfinity team with Jade Buford. They're doing really well. He's sponsoring the Trans Am series presented by Pirelli as well as the SVRA series. But, man, he has really stepped up. His team is doing really well, but Scott Borchetta is the most determined driver I think we have in this 48-car field. Yeah, and he's not just involved in NASCAR. He's also a sponsor of an IndyCar event at Indianapolis, or he has been in the past, currently sponsoring the Nashville race. So, yeah, talk about giving back to the sport he loves. Scott Borchetta doing the business. Now, we've got double yellows out on lap 11 of 27, so we're under caution again. And again, this race will have a change of complexion. Yeah, you know, everything kind of changed with TA2 after that Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Yeah, I feel like that really kind of turned some eyeballs from the racing community, from the motorsports fans, that TA2 really is the best road race. And the race that we put on there last year was definitely the best race of the weekend. And the irony was, we went pretty much green for the whole race. Yeah. IndyCar had all sorts of problems trying to get around that street. Exactly. So thank you to Big Machine for putting that event on. Scott Borchetta, as we ride along with Gene Segal here in his Segal Sport tribute to Ukraine.
Go ahead. The interesting thing about the TA2 cars, back in the 80s, we talked about this a little yesterday. John Timanis, who was the tech director for SECA, they decided they wanted to put a format together, and that was going to be a tube frame silhouette car, which is basically what these are. But they were really looking at the stock car industry because you could buy a lot of parts at a reasonable cost. They were heavy duty. You could put the car together, and that is how the rule book came out. And then, Jonathan, we were talking about read the rule books and build the cars. They want to find the gray areas and they want to make it their best advantage. And Bob Riley came on board, who is a brilliant designer, brilliant engineer, came on board, and they came out with a car that is the current basic TA car. And one of the and it has remained the same all the way up through today. The changes have been pretty much by evolution rather than evolution, or evolution rather than revolution.
Now look at watch here. If we can stay here on this frame, I think I saw Michelle Abadi with a lot of rear end damage in her Ghost Energy Scoche. No, there she goes.
There she goes.
So
good.
Somebody else in a yellow. There it is.
Oh
no, who is that? 22. Oh, that's rather unfortunate. So that's Ty Young. We saw him spin right there at Franklin Road, turn 7. So that's Ty J. Young. And just while we've got a caution and a little bit of a respite to calm down a little bit, I just want to mention the Omologato watches, our watch sponsor here. We've got a chance here this weekend to give away one of those watches when we judge, all three of us, the best pass of the day. We've looked at yesterday's too. And so when we want to judge that, put up a vote, guys, and we can be given away. I see you wearing it. That is a lot of pressure because my Omologato watch is my love. I love this thing. It is a fantastic timepiece. I'm going to have to take my name out of that hat because I don't want to make 48 drivers, 47 drivers mad at me. No, I mean, I'm not voting. Yeah, I couldn't pass any of these guys. Well, we'll look out for that. That is one of our new sponsors or sponsor parts for this season, and we'll be doing that each and every round, so we'll watch out for what we think is the best pass and best move of the day, and we'll give away that Omologato Italian watch. And if you go on their site, they're race orientated all the way through. They've got famous races on every one of them, including Trans Am and including SVRA, and really, really a very, very nice timepiece. So we're under caution.
Okay, so these cars, as I was saying, in the mid-'80s, they came up with a general idea of using stock car chassis, and that's basic what the TA2 cars are. They've gotten back to that original format, which I think is excellent. And if the TA class has come out of that, and it's like a different generation, but I think that they would have stayed with the basics as these cars are now. A Trans Am today would be way farther ahead than what it is, and it is doing really well as it is now.
Well, as you can see, the lights on the Honda Civic are off, which means Rafa Matos is going to be ready to get rolling again, and Goikberg is right there in the all-blue BC Racing from Canada car. He's been with that team for many a year now. And Misha involved in IMSA and various other forms of racing, but Trans Am is his love, and now can he get the lead? Skeen will try and stop him too. He needs to get into second place.
Blaze
Here we go.
Yep.
Goikberg tucked in right there. Skeen jinks out. The all-yellow of the 89, Mike Skeen, looks to the inside of Goikberg.
Mike Skeen.
Skeen's got him.
He's got him. Yeah.
And Merrill's gone with him. Goikberg
no.
gets turned round. At turn one, luckily, as you said, there's 6 lanes out there. He'll be able to carry on, but that's not what he wanted, and it really has put him right down to the back of his field. Anybody at fault there, Kerry?
It looks like he got a little bit of a nudge. He got some help getting out there.
Yeah, I can't tell if he turned in to the car or if the car came into him. Yeah,
exactly.
That was a tough one. That's why the stewards make those decisions.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Well, Skeen is up to second place, and that's really what that matters to them.
What looks good, it didn't look like he locked up his tires, so he didn't flat spot them. I didn't see any big black marks there anyway.
So Goikberg goes from second to out of contention effectively in this race, but never say never.
And we got to talk about Brent Cruz there. The Mustang you see that's missing its whole right front quarter panel. Oh, here's a replay.
So let's see. Now, you can't really blame Merrill for that, can you? It's hard to blame Merrill for that. I mean, what did he do that was untoward?
I don't know. Not from that angle. I can't see anything. Yeah. But luckily, I don't have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to make because we ride aboard here with Mike Skeen right behind his teammate. 2 champions, the 2 most recent champions in TA2.
And it was a very interesting decision by Doug Peterson to bring in Mike Skeen, who is currently doing a full IMSA package this season, therefore can't do the whole season, but he was free. He knows the track. He's done the 12 hours. 3-dimensional, are serious about keeping their car at the front, and so a 4-man team was elected. It was a late call, mind you, and I was speaking to Adam Andretti this weekend, and he said, hey, more data's fine with us, especially when it's somebody as good as Mike Skeen. If you're bringing a kid in, that's different. Bring Mike Skeen in, we all can learn. Yeah. And I thought that was a really interesting comment.
Cameron Lawrence going through the bumpiest part. So see there, Brent Cruz in 3rd place. He's missing his whole right front quarter panel as Scott Borchetta ducks out. Maybe looking to the inside, but man, Brent Cruz is really showing us some talent.
Oh, and a big incident. Several cars, 3 cars involved right at Sunset Bend.
That is Michelle Abadi in that Ghost Energy. And the number 43 of Roberto Sabato, 6-gear garage Ford Mustang.
I say oh no because it was the first race for her. 3 cars involved. There's another one to the right there, the blue and white.
That's Keith Prochek, HP Tuners, Mike Cope Ford Mustang. I say oh no because I'm a fan of Michelle Abati.
Oh yeah. 55 goes off there, got some hard.
Aaron Pierce in the 55, Sam Pierce Chevrolet.
Yeah, he was dealt with quite harshly there by Adrian. But our former champion, or runner-up in SGT, and now in TA to TA2, it's been a mighty rise for the Hawk Performance man. And believe it or not, the back of that car was squashed this time yesterday, but it's okay now.
We've got a double yellow out right now here at the starter stand, probably because of that melee that we saw. We hope that those 3 drivers can refire, but right now, Jonathan, in solidarity, I think I'm going to crack open a can of my Ghost Energy drink that Michelle Abate brought to us.
Well, I think at least at Sunset Bend, it's a quick run into the pit lane, and so it shouldn't take too long to get her and the other 2 cars out of harm's way. Whew. What a frenetic start to the 2022 season. I hope you're enjoying it on the CBS Sports Network as we bring you the first of many great races from this season. We're going all over the country, and from East Coast to West Coast to the Midwest. We'll also be going to Wisconsin as we head to Road America as well, and we finish it all off in COTA at Austin, Texas, the home of Formula One.
Let me explain something to everybody, because they're driving so fast through there, turn 17. if you're side by side with somebody, it gets so bumpy that sometimes the front or the rear of your car can throw 2 feet to the left.
Oh, yeah.
And so when cars go side by side there, if you just happen to hit that right bump, that bump that everybody's trying to avoid, your car can go up in the air 2 feet over to the left and hit anybody. And it's not really a driver's fault, just happened to be right in that right spot of the bump, and it looks like that might be something that happened there.
We're getting a replay here of what happened in that incident. Kerry, what do you see here?
As Ben said, this is a somebody just...
That was the 97.
Yeah, just got loose, I think.
Oh, and then Keith Prochuk came over, didn't see Michelle Abati there.
Wow.
And Michelle Abati was doing nothing wrong there.
She was in the wrong place. But boy, she parked the car that the Ghost Energy has got a good screenshot.
Exactly.
You know?
She's always thinking about those sponsors.
I told you she does a great job with the sponsors, right?
Yep.
Right.
Well, the 97 was Tommy Sheehan, of course.
Oh, that's rough.
That. Not a sight you want to see.
No, it's not. Although,
she's
out of the
saying
car.
my back a little bit. That's rather unfortunate for Michelle.
She's taking a hit.
She sure has.
Yeah, that was a solid hit.
I'd send you down there, Ben, but I don't think she's really in the mood to have a chat, and she's going to have a talk to some of the other guys involved in that incident. She walked back to the car behind her because she knows she's going nowhere. She's having a quick chat.
She had nowhere to go.
No, this is a little bit of an altercation here that we're seeing. So I think that's Barry Bowes there. Is that right? Who's the 43? That's Roberto Sabato. He says, I could tell that somebody was on the side. I don't know what happened. I don't think either one of them are really at fault for that. That I can see. I can't pass these judgments, mind you, but that was just an unfortunate incident that just seems to turn 17 seems to collect people.
Oh, it does. It does. I've been collected there myself, well,
as you can imagine, Michelle Abati quite heated by that moment, but it's really hard to judge if anybody's at fault. You're all racing for the same spot. It's that blue spot you mentioned under that bridge.
Nobody goes out there and intends to crash.
No.
It just...
And then Keith.
There's Keith
Prochuk.
A long-time TA2 driver there, the owner of HP Tuners, so obviously a car guy. Just looking at his car in disgust. Chicago, Illinois. Keith Prochuk, that is from Buffalo Grove, Illinois. HP Tuners Ford Mustang under the Mike Cope tent. Keith, I'm really sorry about that. Just nobody wants to start a season like this because we saw last year. I'll talk about TA2, how competitive it is. Our TA2 champion last year, Rafa Matos, finished on the lead lap. Not only did he podium most of the races, but he finished every lap on the lead lap. So a DNF can kick you right out of the season.
So let's just take a breath while we're still on the caution. Alongside me, Kerry Hitt and Ben Sissel. But the championship lead at the moment with Rafa Matos, Mike Skeen. They are teammates. Skeen coming in just for a few races, but helping Rafa now. And Brent Cruz, the kid. A little damage to his car, but still rolling fast. So then it's Scott Borchetta and Robert Nokia. Cameron Lawrence in 6th, Thomas Merrill 7th. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just kind of going through, looking at my scoring, and we're right here through Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, turn 17, where all this happened. There's the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers car of Scott Borchetta in 4th. 4th was his best finish in TA2 last year at Road America on his birthday. So we're going to see. I told Scott, this is the year that you're going to make it on the podium. I wasn't sure if I said that for the first race of the season, but man, he's putting the work in.
Away we go then. We go to green again, and now Mike Skeen will either defend or push Rafa Matos at the front, because right behind them is a host of other cars. One of them slightly damaged. That's the car there you see in the middle of your shot there, the all-white there, but it doesn't seem to be doing any harm to Brent Cruz.
And what a talent we're seeing in Brent Cruz as Cameron Lawrence comes right up beside Scott Borchetta. Gives him the room.
A little nudge.
Barely gives him the. I don't know if that's giving him room or if that's Scott's talent just holding on to it.
Good restart, though. And Scott Borchetta putting big pressure down on the man in 3rd place as they come under the bridge through Big Bend and down towards the hairpin again. On board with Cameron Lawrence.
Great shots here as we come into 7. Looking at the Franklin Road car there of the number 6 of Cameron Lawrence. And that 0-3 of Robert Noker, first time in Trans Am, and there he is riding right up front with the TA2 veterans.
How about this? Andretti is back out, and we're on board with him now. Only 16 laps gone. There's time for Andretti to score some good points. The good thing about the scoring in Trans Am, if you're not used to, is that pretty much if you stay out there, you're going to get some sort of points. There's points for the laps led, there's points for the fastest lap, and pole position, second and third. We're on board with Andretti, right in the thick of it. Nice overtake. That could be a challenger. As he goes now behind Thomas Merrill.
I forgot I'm supposed to talk. I'm so
no, we can
ensconced
listen.
in this in-car.
Quite happy to ride with Adam. Absolutely happy to ride with Adam Andretti. Over the years, over the last few years, he has become more and more accomplished. He didn't have a full ride a couple of years ago. He stepped into the Peterson car last year and did a great job of helping Rapper to the title and should have won Nashville except for a very simple part that went wrong. He was leading at the time, and so we know Adam can do it. And he's got, like you said, unfettered, no team orders in that team, and this is the time to make it stick. So we're up and running again. Back with Gene Segal, racing for Ukraine this weekend. Got the flag on the car. It must be a very emotional weekend for him. Coming into the sport, the Seagull Sport team. Good to have several new teams this year.
Well, TA2 never disappoints, and they are proving that right here at Sebring International Raceway for the start of the 2022 season here at Sebring SpeedTour with a record number of spectators here with us. So much fun to be a part of this event.
How different is the second half of one of these races compared to the first? It's settled down, we've had a few cautions. What are you thinking when you start thinking about, okay, 28 minutes to go?
Again, you want to just, it's a sprint. It's a sprint from the start to the finish. So you want to drive the car as hard as you can. It's a little easier because, whoa, no, that didn't. That was a hard hit.
Wrong.
That was a hard hit.
Yeah.
Well, I saw some smoke ahead of him when we were on board.
I saw it looked like the car kind of wiggled sideways, and then he just disappeared.
Well, remember, that's the camera that's gone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Well,
but it was a hard hit either way.
We've got double yellow out, hard impact into the wall.
Finish your thought, Kerry. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Things keep happening.
Yeah, they do. Well,
that is a heavy hit.
That's Misha Goikberg, another BC car out, and that's the 0-7 there of Gene Segal, what we saw on board. Segal Sport Chevy Camaro.
So he got hit from behind then.
Yeah.
Misha Goikberg looks a little bit rattled from that hit too.
Well, remember, Misha was trying to catch up places, having been sent wide himself, so he was probably red misting in a bit. And he goes back to make sure the car's okay and make sure it's turned off. Because look, it's gone. That engine's gone.
That's Misha Goikberg, the number 10, the BC race cars. And that's Segal just moving. Well, this is going to take a while to clean up.
This could end up as a red flag.
He's buried in there.
Yeah, look, it's the front of the car is actually buried into the ground. Heavy hit. And he wasn't hit on the back either, was he?
No, it looked like he was sideways, and
maybe he braked late, and Misha had nowhere to go.
Had nowhere to go.
Early, excuse me. Went sideways, and Misha went
sideways.
Straight into it.
I think it. Again, it was one of those things. As I said, nobody goes out there to crash. You know,
of course not.
But
well, Rafa Matos has seen this all before, but I don't know. As a driver, do you want to stay in the zone, in the rhythm, or are you quite happy to have a little bit of a rest and a thought process if you're leading the race, like Rafa is now, to gather your thoughts, or would you prefer it kept going and you just went straight to the end?
It's nice to get in a rhythm. Once you're in a rhythm and you got to break it, then sometimes it's hard to get back into it. On the other hand, it depends on how hard the race is, how hot it is, what the track conditions are like. Sometimes you might want to have a break. Of course, that's coming from a 75-year-old guy, so I don't know, Of course, I tell everybody when I put my cool suit on, I get 30 years younger, so that helps a little bit,
Well, I've watched your race, my friend. I don't think it matters how many years you got on the board. If you're still as fast as you ever were. Now we've got all sorts of tractors and trailers going out there to try and clear up that mess, and let's hope both drivers are okay. But a rather dramatic and sad end to Segal's first race in Trans Am.
Yeah, it looked
and
like
you can see. Look at all this; it's a right mess.
Yeah. Looked like Misha got out and he was maybe a little stiff. But it could have been a good shot. Good
and
shot.
the other reason.
Well, that's the second most high speed part of the circuit right there.
Yeah, you're doing 145 coming into this corner.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're also going so slow, not just that they're not rubbernecking as we often do on the motorway or on the freeway. The reason why is that they're worried about debris for the drivers. You don't know, you can't see from where you are at that speed just where the debris might be on track. So you're almost tiptoeing to make sure you don't hit anything.
That and race control is telling them right now, walking pace through there because there's so many safety crews.
Yeah.
We can't have any other kind of incident right there as we get a black flag, meaning that the cars are all to come back to the pit lane. So I'm going to run down to pit lane,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
why not? Okay. While you do that, Kerry, why don't we explain black flag situations are kind of different in Trans Am because the whole field comes in.
The whole field comes in. What they're going to do is come in and realize that let's just stop the race. It's too dangerous. You know, these as we talked yesterday, the corner workers and the marshals, the job that they do is just unbelievable. I mean, I have seen people do brave and often heroic things in terms of getting a driver out of a car, and they hats off to them. They're ones that just don't get enough credit.
No, you're absolutely right, and as Ben's mentioned, they are kings because of the 12 hours of keeping a hot track hot, if they can, and they're quite happy to have trucks on track. The drivers know it from the drivers' meeting, and it's something that's different to some racetracks that we go to, but here in Florida they're able to do it. But this is a situation that there's no way they can not black flag.
Yeah, it's quite looking out the window and looking over there at the bridge. It's quite a jam of cars and emergency vehicles, and it's everybody's collecting the thoughts now, and trying to get back into the rhythm, because the rhythm's broken. They're going to be going in the track, and they're going to stop and black flag.
The irony is it actually gets hotter at this speed, right?
Oh, well, yeah, it does. You don't have air going through. If you have to pull in, you turn off the car, then you're going to wonder, is it going to refire? Hot cars sometimes don't fire up right away. And then you're going to sit in the car and bake, Or if you keep your cool suit on, you keep that running, and you want to make sure your battery's good and you're not running the battery down. So there's a lot of different things.
Well, let's take another look at what we think happened. We're still sort of guessing, but we'll get a better view from it here. Let's have a look. So we're on board with Gene Segal now, approaching the hairpin. Now, there's an accident ahead of him, and it's smoke, and somebody else is locked up.
Yep.
He can't see now, and so he's coming towards what he sees as an incident, and he's getting closer to the car in front of him. He jinks now to the left and goes straight into that smoke, and now he really is in the dark, so to speak, and there's a car in front of him. He hits that.
Yeah.
That's when his camera goes out, and behind him is Misha Goikhberg.
And it looked like the left front of the Mustang, I guess, was hit, and I think that car was turned around. I think he was in the smoke. He was turned around.
Yeah, he was turned around.
Yeah.
So, drama indeed. There always is in Trans Am. But these are very experienced racers, and they've been waiting all winter to get out there. But, I think that was a graphic illustration. And that onboard's going nowhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Put that one down to experience. So they form up again. And what they do under a black flag situation, are you allowed out of the car or not?
I can't do anything to the car.
Can you get out? Can you as a driver get out?
I guess you could, but I would be afraid
Probably
to do
not
that
to,
because
you don't know the length of the...
Yeah.
So we're under black flag situation here. Kerry Hitt and Ben Sissel helping you along with me, Jonathan Green, here high above the Sebring circuit. We've sent Ben down to the pit lane. He'll be out and about with Tony Garcia. There he is. I can see him in the background to try to get the latest news and updates from each and every one of the many, many stories. Adam Andretti, be interesting to see what he's doing. He's back out, having been in the pits for quite some time, and they've done or repaired whatever. Somebody mentioned that there's a red flag flying now, so we've now got a red flag situation in this race, and that means we will turn off the engines and we will stop this race to clear up that incident at the hairpin. So the red flag is out.
Hate to see that. When those things happen, you know that there's been a lot of damage, and there's going to be a lot of work. People really have a lot of people don't have an idea of how much effort it takes to put one of these cars together and then keep it together and keep it running. And you see something that happens, and it's a split-second incident, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks back in the shop just to put it back together.
I'll bet.
Yeah. Say nothing of the cost of the parts, if you can get parts these days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, that's another issue. Yes, during COVID and so on, parts have been hard to get in anything, not just car racing or cars, but cars themselves, production cars, getting chips alone has been a huge problem, and that's put the price of cars up. Obviously, the gas prices going up as well, so there's all sorts of problems out there. We're all aware of it. It's just nice to take a break now and again and go racing. So a lot of drama and a lot of attrition to this huge 48-car field at the beginning of this race, and we've had several cars go out, including the 3 involved in that incident. Let's head down to the pit lane and see if we can catch up with Michelle Abate. She's with Ben Sisson.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan and Kerry. I'm here with Michelle Abate and this beautiful new BC Race Cars Ghost Energy drinks. Michelle, it seems like you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, we got the green on the restart. I was feeling really, really good. The car was feeling awesome, and I just was in it with Tom. I saw Tom try to make a move to Sheehan on Roberto, and I seen him start to spin, and so I went outside and I just got sandwiched. It was just heartbreaking, really. I mean, I had such a great car. We were making some progress, and this is the last thing I wanted to happen. But, I'm okay. It was a really hard hit, probably one of the hardest I've gotten, and I'm fine. So that's great. These cars are a testament to safety. It's pretty crazy, but just a shame to see what happens, being in the wrong place at the wrong time and just having a little bit of bad luck. It's not how I wanted to start the season at all, but just a little bit heart-wrenching for me. Yeah, this was a really big deal to me to just take the checkered flag, and unfortunately we're not going to do that today.
Michelle, I know I might get in trouble for this, but as a Michelle Abate, my heart is broken as well. Michelle, I'm sorry, but if we'll come with me, let's talk. We're under black flag conditions right now, so we'll kind of walk through here, Tony. We've got Tom Sheehan here, Darren Mock. I'm going to come over and talk to you, Darren. Darren, what are you seeing out there? What kind of insight can you give us? It seems a little crazy.
Yeah, I don't really know what you said, but it's getting a little wild out there. Oh no, we just got to keep doing what we're doing and keep the nose clean. I think we'll finish good.
All right. Keep doing what we're doing, keep the nose clean. That sounds like pretty good advice. I'm going to come up here. We've got Jeff Sexton. That's good. Jeff, welcome to the series, but I'm going to try to make my way through. We've seen Rhett Barco out there. Carl Rydquist, who was kind of late to the grid, running really well. Adrian Lostovsky. Adrian, looks like you're running really well out there. Mr. Anderson in the 31. But here we go. All right, so Will Sawalich, I didn't get to talk to him. First, I'm gonna put a microphone in here and talk to Will Sawalich, 15 years old, first time at Sebring. Will, how does it feel out there?
It feels pretty good. Just getting used to it. I think I can definitely do better job just sitting here thinking of what I can do on the start to gain some position.
Nice. Well, Will, I gotta say, this number 8 SLR car, Starkey Audubell, is really doing a good job because you've been in the mix in everything. Everything seems to be happening right around you, and the car looks clean. That is a testament to the talent that we're seeing in these 15, 16-year-olds like Evan Slater. Evan Slater, did you know what you were getting into when you got into the TA2 series?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Is it crazy out there? How are things happening?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's a lot of fast drivers, but I'm just trying to stay in it, keep the car good, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice. So I tell you what, if you're watching this, the young talent that's coming through in this Young Guns, already these youngsters working their way up through, but then look at this damage right here. Like Kerry was talking about, these cars are very stout, tube frame cars. That isn't going to really affect Tyler Casera's performance in this Liqui-Moly Turn 14 distribution Chevy Camaro. If that happened to the front, it would, but Tyler Casera, coming from Spec Miatas, this might be kind of like your home ground racing, but man, it is crazy out there.
Yeah, the restarts have been wild. I've been making up a bunch of spots. I got dumped in turn 10, and I've just been trying to claw my way back to the front since then. So trying to take advantage of all these full course yellows and try to make up spots here on the restart.
Nice. So we can look around, look at this right here. So he does have a little bit of front end damage. As per the rules, I'm not allowed to touch anything for obvious reasons. Then we've got the number 27 here with M1 race cars of Jack Wood. Somewhat new to the series. He did Brainerd with us last year, but Jack, how does it feel out there? Is it as crazy as it seems on camera?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hot. So I think the track's getting slick. You're losing grip as you go, but you know, it's been a little bit of a wreck fest. The restarts have been tough, and you know, really, I think these last couple laps here, it's just going to be about who's managed their stuff the best and who can make the best passes. So it's been good so far, and you know, I'm enjoying trying to learn some road racing.
Nice. Now, I don't know if you're noticing this. Maybe I just need to check my fitness level. My heart rate is pumping. I'm talking to these drivers that are in the race cars, and it seems like they're super calm, like they're just on a Sunday drive. I can't figure it out. Doug Peterson bringing 4 guns to this gunfight here with 3-Dimensional Services Group. Robert Noker in the 03, really showing us some talent. Congratulations, Robert Noker. Then we've got Adam Andretti, who's been mixed up in all kinds of stuff out there. Adam, explain to us why you had to come in.
So we had a leaky rear end. So unfortunately, it wasn't affecting me, but unfortunately, it was affecting my competitors, as I saw quite a few of them that were behind me had to get their windshields cleaned off. But you know, the 3-Dimensional Services Group, Peterson Racing Team did a great job of getting it, finding the problem, solving it, and getting us out there to collect points. We're in for the long haul. There's still 16 more rounds of this championship to go, so we got to make sure that we're out here collecting as many points as we can. They're just going to be so valuable. So good luck to Rafa and Mike up there. It looks like it's going to be a heck of a battle for the fans back home. So I hope it's been a good show for you so far. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam Andretti, always telling the truth. I need to apologize. I said Noker, but it's No Acre. Robert No Acre up there. Thomas Merrill. Now we're getting up to kind of the sharp end here. Thomas Merrill, you have been in the mix. I can see that you're sweating out there. Try to describe it to the fans, what you're seeing from your vantage point.
Well, I'm seeing some good hard Trans Am racing at Sebring. It's hot. It's exciting. We keep getting roughed up on these restarts. We're getting good restarts. My Bridge Hall HP Tuners Beyond the Beats Mustang is killer on these restarts, but we keep getting run into. So I'm hoping on this last restart we can find a nice little hole and move forward. We're a lot better than our position shows. So I'd love to do old Al Prado proud and put this thing up on the box today.
Nice. I love it. We would too, as well. We're going to keep moving up. We've got Cameron Lawrence with FranklinRoadApparel.com. And then in 4th place, Scott Borchetta. Scott, can you describe to the fans what you're seeing out there in this crazy TA2 race at Sebring?
Man, this is the ultimate American muscle race, and we're getting it on, man. This Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler, number 48, we've had an incredible race, so hopefully we can finish the deal here.
I can't believe how calm all the drivers feel as they seem to be firing back up. So Jonathan, it's getting loud down here, which I love. I love this music, but I'm going to send it back to you in the booth.
The music man talks to the other music man. Ben Sissel doing a great job there on the pit wall, and we're getting ready to go. They did red flag it, so the time on the clock therefore stopped. That's the reason for the red flag, because they were already in under a black flag. And Kerry, that's important too, especially if you're organising your team. You want to know how long you've got left and how desperate you need to be. But we've got actually quite a bit of racing still to come from this race. A lot of attrition, several cars out, including Conor Mosak. He has retired with an engine problem. We've spoken to Michel Abate. Siegel is out. Obviously, he is involved in that. Prochuk was involved with that Abate incident. Bruce Raymond out. Danny Lowry out. And you saw Andretti came in with that leak from his car and has rectified it and is back out there, but out of contention. But boy, real drama.
Right, a lot of drama. That's racing. Scott said U.S. muscle car racing. That's really what it is, and it shows.
So in a moment, Rafa he's got it fired up, but next he's going to want to get out there, do a systems check. Tell me, Kerry, what are you looking for at this point? Like you say, sometimes when it's overheating like this, you worry about restarting the car, but once that's done, then what?
Well, it started. In fact, I wonder if he's having trouble starting right now.
Skeen's struggling already.
Skeen. Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stalled it.
Huh?
It's silent.
Yeah, it's silent. I don't know if it fired at all or not.
Yeah, they're passing.
Nope, they're passing. Oh gosh. See that? As I said, that's one of the things you got to worry about, shutting the car off when it's hot.
Now, rule-wise, if he gets that restarted, does he lose his position by not going at the time he should have done?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that changes everything again.
Oh, it does. It does. Rafa's out there alone.
Interesting that the car behind him, the damaged car, isn't moving either.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll allow a push-off or not.
That's interesting, because Brent Cruz's car, we don't know if he's stalled as well, but he was just stuck behind Mike Skeen. He might be so close to Skeen that he can't actually pull out.
Well, he could have backed up, I think.
I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly could by now, anyway.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the data here that shows the cars even trying to fire.
This has got to be the worst thing a driver can go through.
Oh,
Your
it's
adrenaline's
horrible.
thrown, you're on for a podium, everything's going well, and now you're stuck.
Oh, they say that's racing?
Yeah. Doesn't make it any more fun.
No.
I always say as in motor racing, as in life, because the highs and lows of motor racing just are an exaggeration of everybody's life.
Oh, that's true.
You stub your foot and it's annoying for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You have a problem where, you lose your keys, whatever it is. Anything that makes you mad. Well, in motor racing, imagine magnifying it by 1,000 times for the simple reason that your whole world is on the edge, if you will, because you're risking your life. It's fight or flight. You're trying to stay calm. You're hot. You're in a huge monster beast of a car that makes a lot of power and can be very, very scary if it all goes wrong. But you're trying to stay calm, and when situations like that happen, Mike Skeen is going to be spitting.
All that time, the adrenaline is pumping and pumping and pumping.
Yeah. Here's what's really interesting. How about this? This car, number 48, Scott Borchetta, is currently in second place. And I don't think he's counting his lucky stars.
Yeah.
But, and I say
you got to push off.
Okay. He's got going again. Now, I would have thought he's going to have to be at the back. Sure.
I think so, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I'm not.
We'll find out. Well, this has had everything, and there's going to be more for this. This is what we do. If you've just joined us and you haven't been watching Trans Am, where have you been? This is what happens every weekend, right, Kerry?
It does. It does. Come and join us. It's a great family.
Yeah, no question about it. And it really is. It's a lovely family to be in. Everybody helps each other out when there is a problem, if there is a problem.
In the paddock area, and we were trying to get the cars together, we're all family. And when we're out on the racetrack, we all do battle. So it's an interesting...
As it should be.
Yeah. He's really having a problem getting started.
Yeah, this is the number 70 that was in third place, which is Brent Cruz. Let's hope he gets it fired up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he doesn't, because now he's out on the track. Yeah.
So, drama indeed. The race being led by Rafa Matos, who, despite all of this, has had no problems so far. Yeah. Our timing is not quite correct. Adam Andretti is not in second place, and nor is Misha Goikerberg up there too. Skeen will drop away. We won't really get a full understanding of the timing, as it were, or the positions until we get a flying lap.
Yeah.
The timing monitor is obviously going haywire because so many cars either starting or not starting, but until we go past that strip again. Ben is back and looking like he's got some stories for us.
Yeah, and excuse that I'm out of breath, but the drama here that's unfolded, according to Joe Stevens, one of the owners, SMR, Stevens Miller Racing, Mike Skeen and Brent Cruz did not start, pushing Scott Borchetta and every other car into second position. But now, as you see, they're starting to move up. But as per the rules, as I understood it, if you didn't start, can you move back up, or do you have to start at the back?
We've just been saying.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. I understood them to be the same way too, but you can't. They're trying to start that car.
That's Brent Cruz here. Look.
Yeah.
And he's trying to take a shortcut to catch up with the field.
Well, he's not started yet, I don't believe.
The lights are still on, and at the moment, the big story for me is that Scott Borchetta has a chance of a podium here.
And did you hear how calm he was?
Yeah, he was loving it.
I can't believe, talking to all the drivers, how calm they are with the melee that we've seen.
Yeah, really good stuff.
thing is once the race gets started, you settle into that calmness. You really do. I mean, you everything's happening quickly, but it happens in a rhythm, and it's. I think it's one of the things that I love about the racing. It is the only time in my life when my brain is only focusing on one thing.
It's actually probably, in a weird way, relaxing.
It is. Exactly.
Yeah, knowing all the things that you do in your personal regular life with advanced composite products, I'm sure that your days are pretty crazy, as is Scott Borchetta. So this is his time to focus on one singular thing. Which becomes relaxing.
Yeah.
So here we go. We've got about 20 minutes or just under left in this race. And really, you predicted. Well, the planes come in. Rafa's plane's here, so he better win and get out. That's not right.
Well, is Skeen back up in?
I don't know, but I can't figure out why the lights are still on. Usually when we come in for a black flag, it's one lap out.
Yeah, you're right. Skeen's gone back to his position.
Yeah, he's gone back. You can't blame him. I mean, if the rules don't point it out, you can't blame him for wanting to get up there.
I'm going to go find out. I'm going to go up to talk to the race director.
Okay.
Well, there's no question that it's going to be green flag next time by, which is good news. We're on board with Adrian Lostowski in the Hawk Performance car. Lostowski having a good run for the first run of the year. Despite that crash yesterday, they got it all together. And we'll see some onboards of him. He's currently back down in 23rd place, so a lot of work to do for Adrian. He wants more points. Runner-up in SGT 2 years ago.
What it looks like is if Skeen is allowed to be in that position, that still puts Scott on the podium.
That can't be right, though. If your car stalls as you go out, well, I don't know. Yeah,
maybe because of the red flag situation and a non-restarting.
Correct. You've got a combination of. That's why we're muttering, because in most circumstances, that would, if it was a live race, you would not be able to.
Yeah.
But we had black flag, then we had red flag. So yeah, it's really it's why we've sent Ben to go and check that out. So he might be within his rights, or they weren't sure, and better be where you shouldn't be than not there at all.
Well, it'll be good to know. I hope I never am in that situation, but if I am, then I will know.
Well, our roving reporter has done it again. He's back.
Well, he may hate me for it, but I interrupted David Hoots and whatever he was doing and asked him the rules, and he said Mike Skeen is perfectly within the rules. He did not start. They started him out. He's able to go back out and gain his position.
Okay.
And that's right from David Hoots. David, I'm sorry I'm sure that upset you in whatever you were in the middle of, but that's just the way I roll.
Hoots. Whatever you do. I would never do that. I always take his call. Oops. Mike Skeen then rejoins in second place.
Well, that still puts Scott in third.
Yeah, and Scott Borchetta still off for that podium, though, because Cruz did not get started. He tried to take a shortcut to try and catch up with the rest of the field, and he's come to a stop again. So
I saw something anecdotally, I saw something in Thomas Merrill's eyes, a little bit of anger when I was talking to him. He said he kept getting pushed out at the restarts. I know from my experience that an angry Thomas Merrill works his way up to the front. So look out for Thomas Merrill. I also spoke to the Team SLR. Connor Mosak is having engine issues, so that's unfortunate.
He's out,
Dylan McIvern and Tyler Casera had some contact in the race. That was the rear end damage that I showed there at the grid with Tyler Casera. And Dylan McIvern hasn't come back around since then. So much has happened.
Lights out on the Honda Civic again, and we are going to go racing. It's going to be a 1-2 for three-dimensional services. Rafa Matos continues to lead this race. Mike Skeen, and we've got the rules, is able to restart despite having to get a push. He goes back to second place. But sadly, Brent Cruz, who was in third, does not. What the heck happened there?
What was that?
Well, somebody accelerated and I think hit the back of that blue-white car, and I can't quite see the number, but away we go! Green flag waves, and away goes Rafa Matos, and away goes Mike Skeen. Those behind trying to gain position here. As Skeen comes alongside the leader, Rafa Matos. They're side by side, the two champions. And Skeen takes the lead for the moment. Rafa Matos will try to go after him, but it's got a clear lead. Go ahead.
Thomas Merrill in third. moved up like 3 positions there, took the outside line. Cameron Lawrence on the inside of Thomas Merrill.
Banging each other.
Now Cameron has the advantage, but Thomas is going to try to take a late apex. And like I said, I saw something in Thomas's eyes. And watch out, because we saw late last year Mike Skeen and Thomas Merrill go at it.
Yep, and Cameron Lawrence, his position now as they head down towards the hairpin. Under the bridge they come. The 2 three-dimensional cars battling it out for first and second, but this battle for third is really good too as they're side by side again. Through they go.
Looks like Cameron's...
Andretti in a good battle too. 13 just over minutes to go as we're on board with Adam Andretti. Mike Skeen leads this race. How lucky has he been? Still going on, a 3-4-way battle. Andretti at the back of this group. There's your champion, Rafa Matos, who's led most of this race, but now has given Skeen the lead. And you've got to think tactically that because Skeen is not doing the championship, if he's able to, the two of them go ahead, that's fair game, and Matos will go through in the last lap or something like that.
Or
Skeen
Mike
wins
Skeen wins the race. Knowing Doug Peterson, I don't think there's going to be team orders. I think he's just going to think, Mike Skeen has to do a limited run anyway. It really won't affect it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, why not? Win when you can, right? So, very interesting indeed. Mike Skeen, we've got a host of champions at the front. Skeen with a couple of titles. Likewise, Rafa Matos, the current champion of TA2. Both racing for the same team. Adam Andretti's in the mix, but he's at the back of this group.
That's my brake marker there. That's not car debris. That's the brake markers that I put up that we had hit there at the back of that pace lap.
I wouldn't go and put it back up now.
No, that's just a piece of plastic. Won't do any damage to the tires or the cars.
So everybody filing through as they head towards Sunset Bend as we come towards the sunset part of this race. Carl Reitquist on board with him. He's got traffic ahead of him. First run for the Franklin Road team and in the National Series. There goes Adrian Lostowski in that Hawk, number 3. On board with him now as he heads down through 2 and up to 3 under the heavy braking that is 3. Nice and smooth by Adrian.
He's a smooth driver. He's really doing a good job.
Yeah, so great to have Lostowski here in Hawk Performance. Smooth driver, great competitor, and just a great person to have in the paddock.
Really upbeat.
I have a question. I can't get timing and scoring. Is Adam Andretti on the lead lap, or is he just mixed in with this?
I've got Goikerberg in third, and of course he's out of the race, so it's a bit of a strange one for this weekend.
So
we'll try to keep
I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I could be wrong, but I don't think Adam Andretti's on the lead lap. I think he's just trying to get as many points as he can.
Exactly.
But he also doesn't want to mess any of these drivers up. Adam Andretti is
these
a true
two are
sportsman.
on the lead lap, that's for sure.
Yes, they are. That's Cameron Lawrence there. He's got a little bit of right end damage right behind his right front tire, but I've seen him do really well at Mid-Ohio with a whole body panel just hanging up.
Right, here it is properly. Skeen, Matos, Merrill, Lawrence, Borchetta. Borchetta's dropped to 5th after that coming, that opening salvo, if you will. The other three-dimensional car, the team owner, and Evan Slater behind him in 8th. Doug Peterson, I've got 2 of Doug Peterson, so you can see that there's been a little bit of a timing hitch here and there. But one thing I can say, Mike Skeen leads the race.
Look at Thomas Merrill. See, that's that damage I was talking about that's just getting worse and worse. Scott Borchetta is going to see that and think that's going to be a huge drag coming down here. So look for Scott Borchetta to duck out, but he's got right behind him Adam Andretti, who I think is a lap down.
Well, he's racing, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's more than a lap, I'm sure.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But Cameron Lawrence, that's
got to feel weird.
Oh,
it does, and I'm sure his team is telling him. And I don't know if that's something that we're going to have to bring him in, or if David Hoots. Luckily, I don't have to make that decision as Andretti gets by Scott Borchetta.
Good move, Andretti enjoying his racing, and he's caught it there nicely.
It's going to be really distracting inside the car with Cameron.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, he of his eye.
Now that's Adam Andretti there in your bottom left in his new Bell helmet for this season. And I'm sure that Rocky and Dylan Hellman are telling Scott Borchetta that Adam's a lap down, just let him go.
Yeah.
No need to fight Adam and risk your because Scott is in it for the championship. And so he's racing for points right now, where Adam is trying to finish as best that he can.
Well, it's been a dramatic and typical TA2
So there
car.
goes the
Oh,
debris.
that's got to be so distracting as the debris comes off the car of Merrill right into the face
That's Lawrence,
of Adam
Cameron
Andretti.
Lawrence. That's the
Sorry,
side of Cameron Lawrence.
Yeah. That
Franklin
was,
Road Apparel, look at the side of that now.
Gosh.
This is no big deal to Cameron Lawrence because I've seen him
he did it
finish
with the
on
other-
the podium at Mid-Ohio with worse damage than this. He is used to this.
And wasn't it him at Nashville that had the same problem?
I can't remember.
Yep,
Yeah.
team watching on. And rather nervous, as you can imagine. Joe on the right there, the data man. To go back with Adam Andretti.
And Adam Andretti and Cameron Lawrence have raced quite a bit in the series in years past.
Yep.
Adam Andretti is the only man who has won a TA2 race in a Chevy, Ford, and a Dodge.
Yep. Nice accolade, to be fair.
With ECC Motorsports.
And Andretti's got a chance
Look
to
at
pass
him
him. He's
drafting
going
that.
to.
That's got to be doing
Yeah.
something to the aero of the
Yeah,
car.
the arrows, that's got to slow him down.
Well, it's sucking air into the car and slowing him down.
Yeah.
Probably distracting him, as you say.
Caused a lot of
Adam's
drag.
car looks so hooked up right now.
Yeah, it does.
Rafa Matos has settled down. He leads the race. Mike Skeen is second at the moment.
How impressive is Robert Noaker right now? First time in the series in the 6th place with the melee that's happened, and he is beating some champions right now.
It's just a matter of hanging in there and keeping it going and keeping it one piece and staying clean.
Yeah,
and
same
smooth.
thing with Evan Slater in 8th place, William Sawalich in 10th place, and Doug Peterson in 9th place. Doug Peterson has given us a good showing here at Sebring International Raceway.
Doug has given so much to the sport.
Yes.
So
yeah, we owe Doug so
Yep.
much, and he is bringing 4 cars to the field.
Yeah.
It adds so much. So Doug Peterson, 3-Dimensional Services Group, thank you for your support.
So, 7 minutes to go. We're on board with Adrian Lostowski again in that Hawk Performance car.
Coming into turn 10 here. Just behind the SLR car there. That looks like William Sawalich, the 15-year-old, racing with Starkey Audibel hearing aids with Team SLR. He's in that development program. It's a NASCAR. So 5 years from now, we're going to just brag to our friends that we knew him when.
Yeah, exactly.
he could well be another Ernie Francis.
Yeah.
Well, there's the gap between Skeen and Rafa Matos. It was Matos in the front. Again, a little confusing for 2 different timings, but Skeen right there. Rafa has recovered nicely. And here's the gap they've got now to those chasing them. So they've got this, they're in control of this race with 6 minutes to go for sure.
Yeah.
And then we've got all sorts going on
Look
behind.
at this. So there's Thomas Merrill in 3rd.
Yep.
Cameron Lawrence is in 4th. Adam Andretti's a lap down, to our knowledge. And then it looks like Noaker just passed Scott Borchetta going into Big Machine Spike Cooler turn 17.
Well, this has had everything.
Look at that group of cars right there. That's Carl Rydquist coming around. That's
Carl Rydquist.
Rhett Barco, our Rookie of the Year, and the lone Dodge Challenger in the field.
Yeah, good to see him out there. He had a misfire.
Jeff Sexton back out there. It's good to see Jeff getting it refired and coming back out.
You know, this is the end of the race, and look how bunched up they are.
I know, it's good.
It just doesn't get any better than this. I think the racing in Trans Am is the best racing that you can see. I mean, bar none.
Best bang for your buck. There's no question about it. And that comes to buying the cars, racing the cars, and being part of the championship.
Yep.
It's pure racing, as we like to call it.
So that's William Sawalich right there, the number 8. Starkey.com, followed by Adrian Lostowski. And that's the 3 of Robert Noaker. So Robert Noaker has dropped back a little bit. I'm not getting our timing and scoring right now, but just anecdotally what I'm seeing is he was up there and he might have dropped back 2 or 3 positions. So there's Scott Borchetta in his number 48 tribute to Dan Gurney. Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler car. He's in that, I think it's a cranberry, but he says he prefers the lemonade. as Tyler Casera, you can see that little bit of rear end damage there that we think was altercation with Dylan McIver in the number 17 somewhere on the track.
Now we have it here as Rafa Matos, Skeen, and Merrill. That's your top three. And now it's confirmation that the 88 is in front of the 89. It's been a little confusing because our race monitor has got it the opposite way round, but we got it right. Cameron Lawrence still fourth. Robert Nokia in fifth place. Borchetta now sixth. And this battle is coming down to a real finish. White flag is out. We got one lap to go now. And I think that it's going to be line astern for Rafa and Mike Skeen. And Merrill will be on the podium as Andretti continues to push on. And so too Doug Peterson in the 87 just going through sunset. Tyler Casera is going to finish in the top 8. A youngster, Evan Slater, just 16 in his first real major run. He has run with us before, but this is his first championship. He's in 8th at the moment, ahead of Doug Peterson. Great start for his Trans Am career. But Rafa Matos, the champion from 2021, has picked up where he's left off at the end of last season. It was a superb year for the Brazilian turned American.
And ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled to the screen. The last lap here in TA2 at Sebring International Raceway. Everything can change.
Time running out though. Lostowski under the bridge. Last time into the hairpin.
Franklin Road, turn 7 here. The last couple of corners coming up here. Some good passing zones.
Well, this is a race that's had everything. And I think there'll be some relieved drivers after this one and some relieved teams. But a lot of hard work for the engineers and mechanics to fix before the next round. And that, of course, if there's a Charlotte Roval, really looking forward to that one. From then we go to Road Atlanta, another classic circuit. Rafa Matos should walk away here in his native Florida as the winner of our first TA2 race of the season. Here they come, down the Almond Straight for the final time. Rafa Matos, he's led all the way. There's been some moments when Skeen overtook him, but it was soon rectified by Rafa. And once back into the lead, Skeen has followed him home, and this is a good start for the three-dimensional services group championship winning team. A 1-2 to start the year. Comes out of the last corner, and Rafa Matos does it at Sebring again. Another win for Rafa Matos and the team. Quite rightly, celebrate. A 1-2. Mike Skeen drafted in at the last moment and has done the business. It was touch and go for Mike Skeen at the restart when they couldn't get his car going. But according to our race director, and there's Rafa, you can see him in the cockpit waving, starting to look a little bit more relaxed now. But guys, let me hear your thoughts. Well, that had everything, didn't it, Kerry? Like you said, that was the epitome of Trans Am racing.
Wow, yeah, what a way to start the season. I mean, you talk about the adrenaline, it's amazing. These guys really did a good job. They raced hard from the green flag right to the checkered. Now they need to go home and put all the
I'd sleep
things
for 5
back
days
together.
after that. Are you kidding?
Yeah. yeah.
I'd sleep for 5 days, yeah.
Well, the engineers are probably already figuring out what they need to do to fix the cars, the ones that are wrecked, and how they're going to get it.
Exactly. Well, let's take a look at the highlights then of what was a traumatic race, dynamic and traumatic race. And it started off with Rafa Matos leading the way in the 88, the 86 of Andretti alongside him. And then there was all sorts going on behind. Conor Mosak in the wars, likewise Skeen, he gets a tap there. Merrill involved, Cameron Lawrence involved, so many champions returning. Conor Mosak had problems, so did the youngster Sexton, getting turned around there, and a big off this time as Paul goes round. Likewise, the youngster Dylan Archer getting in trouble. Big moment for Misha Goikberg, gets in trouble, and then he would be involved in another incident, as was Abati just before. Then at the restart, Mike Skeen makes his move, gets ahead of the champion, but in the end, it was Rafa Matos who took them to the win.
Round one. It's over.
Ding, ding.
Yep.
Gloves are off, that's for sure. But Rafa Matos, think about his race, actually. It wasn't without drama, but it wasn't anything he would worry about. His teammate got alongside and got ahead, but I don't think that worried him too. And as I mentioned, I think that because Mike is doing a shortened schedule, I don't think he would have had any problem with him coming by, given that Matos is going, for back-to-back titles.
Right.
Well, Ben's gone down there. We'll hear from the winners in a moment. So just go to the process of effectively even this car, rehauling between races. They've got 3 weeks now. What do they do?
Well, these cars, obviously the brakes are worn out. They're going to change brakes. They're going to just go through the entire car, nut and bolt the car, make sure that everything's tight. Look at the buttons. It rattles the car to pieces, And so they've just got to go over and make sure that everything's tight, everything belongs where it's supposed to be. Check for cracks in the suspension. I'm not sure how these cars are on rotors. Depends on how bad the track is. Sometimes the rotors will crack. But checking all that out, just making sure that the car is ready to go up to the next race, and hope you find all the gremlins.
Yeah, no question about it. Rafa Matos, we were on board with him as he came in there, getting the direction to the winner's circle. And in a moment, he'll hop out, and his typical Brazilian coolness will, I'm sure, effervesce. It's been a familiar sight. Certainly it was last year. There he is. His young daughter was his lucky charm last year. Not sure if she's here this weekend. But this Brazilian has done the business again. He's making a big name for himself in Trans Am. Got his first win at Road Atlanta back in 2018 and has never looked back since. Took the championship that year. Did a year with silver hair. Didn't go as well for them, but once he came back to three-dimensional, he was unstoppable. And I'll bet the man alongside him, well, Doug Peterson, his car's also in the winner's circle, but the man behind him, that is, Mike Skeen, will be very relieved after what his race did. Let's head down to Ben Sissel.
Get to the right.
Rafa Matos is ready to talk.
Oh my goodness. What a way to start the new 2020 season with our 2021 champion. Pole position and now a win. How does it feel, Rafa?
I couldn't feel better. It's not easy to hold Mike Skeen in the same piece of equipment, and it's even harder to overtake him. Only 5 laps to go. I made a small mistake on the last restart that cost me the lead of the race, and he took advantage of it. But just hats off to the three-dimensional service group team. Those guys gave us amazing cars. I don't know what happened to Adam, but he was up front with us, and today was a testimonial how hard this team works and how good they are. So I'm really happy.
Rafa Matos, three-dimensional services group, dude, congratulations. You know the country of Brazil is going a little crazy right now, but hey, our 2 most recent champions, 1 and 2, Mike Skeen. So glad you're back in the series. What a show. How'd it feel out there?
Good. Just really happy to get up to the podium after yesterday's qualifying with a slipping clutch. It was a bummer to be starting kind of bottom of the top 10, but made it up to the front relatively easily and kind of ran there just biding our time to get up to the front. I think used up the tires a little bit too much and wasn't really going to make a lunge on Rafa, but got a good restart and went for it and thought maybe he wouldn't make a lunge on me, but didn't want to get too rough with him, so kind of let him back through. He's going for points, I'm not, so we'll move on, do another one.
Mike Skeen, a champion, 2 seconds in a row here at Sebring. We're going to go over here to Thomas Merrill, who won here last year. And Thomas Merrill usually is disappointed by a 3rd place, but you got to feel pretty good about that. Huge memento to Al Prieto's family. How does it feel, buddy?
It feels amazing. This right here, that's what it's all about. I can't believe we did it for Al. It's also for these guys here. Rich Hall jumped on board with us this year. They're a huge support in addition to HP Tuners and the whole Mike Cope Racing group. Big thanks to Hammer Nutrition for keeping me hydrated during this race, man. It was a hot one. And we had a great race car. Full credit to the Peterson Racing crew. They were in a league of their own this weekend. But, for us, qualifying was our preseason testing, so to end up on the box is pretty good. Yeah.
Nice. Thomas Merrill always showing us something. I'm going to go over to Robert Noacre. I think he's our Young Guns winner. Robert Noacre, we talked a little bit at the pit lane. Man, did you show us some talent out there. You were in the melee, but your car seems to be the cleanest of anybody in here. How does it feel?
Feels great. Being first time here with this car, it feels great. The competition is phenomenal. I mean, it's, every lap is a battle just for even just to keep your position. And we started having a little bit of a problem at the end to start. I don't know if a brake is seized or something, but it just starts pulling as soon as I hit the brake, and I lost probably 5 or 6 positions from it. A little bummed about that, but still a good finish. Cars in one piece, and feels good.
Nice. I love it. Congratulations, man. Robert Noaker here with our young guns. And where is Doug Peterson, three-dimensional services owner? Congratulations to Doug Peterson. But we've got to do a big celebration here with the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli on the podium. So, Jonathan, back up to you.
Well, we're going to catch our breath. My thanks to Kerry Hitt and to Ben Sissel. We have seen an astonishing start to the season, just what we wanted. Kerry, we're going to take a breath, take a beat, if you will, and we'll come back and take a short break. Join us after this.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands: Baldwin, John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman brand, and on down the list. So come see us, Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
If your tooling isn't quite ready and you need parts, and you need more parts than just a few, or if your run is just not that big, look to the experts in low volume production, three-dimensional services. Whether it's 10, 100, or 1,000 parts, we can meet your needs. And if it's 10,000, we can do that too. Three-dimensional services delivers high-quality parts for short runs, 70% faster than industry standards. Three-dimensional services. Prototype, production, proven.
Menards is the Midwest's ultimate home improvement store. Family owned since 1958, Menards is the one-stop shop where you always save big money. Get the Midwest's best selection nationwide when you shop online at menards.com. We make it easy to complete your projects around the house, big or small. From hardware to plumbing or paint to appliances, we carry it all. Visit menards.com today to save big money at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
So Rafa Matos showing off his sponsors, and they've been good to him, and he's been good to them, to be fair. He joined the team, and since he did, they've been winning. And Kerry, I just want to get Kerry Hitt, who of course races with TA, your thoughts on what was a dramatic race. We've been so frenetic for the last hour. Your thoughts?
It's great. I didn't think I could work up this much in adrenaline just watching the thing. I mean, it was the drivers are tremendous. The cars being so equal makes the drivers stand out, and what we saw is a tribute to the whole effort Trans Am has put out, and this whole class, and it is up and coming. It is going to be I think a dynamite season. I mean, we've only just begun, so it's going to be great. Next one's Charlotte, I believe.
Yep, Charlotte, Roval, and then Road Atlanta, another one of the favorites amongst the drivers, right?
Yeah, Road Atlanta is a fun track. I've never driven Charlotte. I guess they had a Pro-Am there last year.
But now we're going back for real,
Yeah, so, and then...
I watched the NASCAR there, and it's an intriguing circuit because it's tough. It's tight inside that Roval.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
A lot of the Rovals, I mean, they're an interesting... It's interesting to be able to set up the car and run on it. I've always enjoyed Daytona. I don't know how many miles at Daytona. I've run several 24 hours there, you know, and but it's always an interesting track. And I think the other ovals that they have, I believe that NASCAR is on the right track, and I believe that road racing is going to see a new dawning, and the spectators are going to be able to enjoy it a lot better.
My thanks to Kerry Hitt. He'll be back in action in TA as soon as he can, and his car is rating to go, and he's raring to go, especially after that race. Thanks, Kerry.
Yeah.
And, we'll wrap up what has been a fantastic day of racing in TA2. The TA2 Championship is back. The winter is truly over. I said at the top of the day that it's been a long winter of waiting, and now it's over, and the boys put on and the girls put on a great show here on the CBS Sports Network. But let's go first of all to our chill out, keep cool move of the race, and it has to be Rafa Matos, because he was under huge pressure from Mike Skeen. So there's no question in my mind that was at a time in the race where Skeen was all over the back of him and had got ahead of him, and back came both a great move by Rafa Matos to go into the lead again ahead of Mike Skeen. So well done to him, and well done to Rafa Matos taking the chill out, keep cool move of the race. So well done to Rafa. He pretty much takes all the laurels today in the 88 with the one in between. The chill out system's quantum cooler moment. So that concludes our coverage from Sebring International Raceway. I hope you've enjoyed it. Our thanks to everyone here at Sebring. They put on a great show. We look forward to their 12-hour race. But from me, Jonathan Green, from Kerry Hitt, and from Ben Sissel, my thanks to them. And thanks to all our viewers on the CBS Sports Network for tuning in. We'll be with you all season long. We're really looking forward to bringing you the best road racing series in America. Trans Am is alive and kicking in 2022. It's going to be a big year. From me, Jonathan Green, until next time, goodbye for now.
Why am I excited to drive?
It won't be a burden on my family to drive me to my extracurriculars, including swimming, show choir, voice lessons, youth group, and leadership programs.
As close as I need to be, like sports, so my parents don't have to drive me, and so I can have a social life.
I'm excited to drive so I can go from 2 horsepower to 100.
I could say because of freedom, but I'm more excited for what I will be driving. A 1972 Datsun 240.
I'm excited to drive because I'm going to save the manual, like this one.
Hey man, you can't drive that thing yet. You don't have a license.
I am excited to drive because it'll be a monumental step to a life of independence. And who knows, maybe my dad will let me drive his favorite.
Beats walking.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green Flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.